How y'all doing this evening? Do y'all want that bounce? Do y'all want that bounce? I say, do y'all want that bounce? That bounce?
Everybody wanna be like you. They want power and praise like you. But see, there is no God like our God.
Like our God.
There's no one like you who gave their life like you and who paid our price like you. See, there's only one God. That's our God. There's no one like you.
First,
who can touch like you or heal us like you do. We stumble and we stray, still you always get us through.
always.
Who makes all things new and comes to our rescue. Death, hell, and the grave
They could not.
could not conquer you. He came just like me to unlock and set free.
Hey.
This prisoner that was deep, wounded and redeemed.
The me.
I could not see.
Clap your hands, y'all. Cause
Everybody wanna be like you. They want power and praise like you. But see, there is no
no God.
like our
Our God.
There's no one like you who gave their life like you.
And who paid?
Who paid our price like you.
There's only
one
God.
That's our God. There's
here's
no
another
one
one.
like you. Some may worship things, but what joy do they bring? They try and hide the stain.
But they can't.
But can they set us free?
See where we
See where would we be
without.
Calvary?
Hey.
A king upon a tree.
So the whole world can see
the whole world can see
that you,
you became just like me to unlock and set free.
this prisoner,
Prisoner that was deep,
deeply wounded. Hey.
and redeemed.
The me.
I could not see.
I need for y'all to bounce with me. Cause everybody.
Everybody wanna be like you. They want power and praise like you.
But they can't have it.
There is no God.
There's only one God. Can I get a witness?
There's no one like
Who came?
who gave their life
Who
like
else died for you?
who paid our
Who
price
paid the
like
price for you?
There's only
one.
That's our God.
Bridge.
There's no one like you.
Make some noise, y'all.
Savior, Counselor, friend, provider.
You're eternal.
Was, is, and forever.
That's why.
That's why I just wanna be where you are. I'll travel life with you no matter how far.
Say it again, y'all.
Father, Savior,
You're my counselor, friend, provider. You are, you will be. That's why.
that's why I just wanna be where you are.
I'll travel life with you.
Travel life with you no matter how
Say that with us. I can't hear y'all. Everybody say. Woo! And it don't stop. One more time, y'all. Here we go. I'm glad that you.
became just like me to unlock and set free. This prisoner that was deep, wanted and redeemed.
The me.
I could not see.
I like this part right here. Say.
Everybody wanna be like you. They want power and praise like you. But see, there is no
God like our God.
There's no one like
gave?
who gave their life like you.
Who paid the price?
Who paid our price like you.
There's only one. If you know there's only one, make some noise. Hey!
There's no one like you. There's no one like you. There's no one like you. There's no God. There's no God.
Hey!
There's no one like you.
People say.
There's no one like you.
People say.
There's no one like you.
I'm so glad.
No God. There's no
You may be let down before.
There's no one like you.
Let me see you one.
There's no one like
Let
you.
me see you one.
There's no one like you.
And we don't stop. 'Cause we can't stop.
Time after time, season after season, at my highest highs and my lowest lows, you've always been there, 'cause you're the faithful one. You're the faithful one. Time, season after season, in my darkest nights, in my loudest storms, you've always been there, 'cause you're the faithful one. Yes, you are. You're the faithful one. Faithful God you are. We can always count on you. Always count on you. We can always lean on you. Yeah. You're the faithful one. Oh. When my faith is failing, you are faithful. And when my strength is failing, you're still able. When my faith is failing, you are faithful. And when my strength is failing, you're still able. And when my faith is failing, you are faithful. Faithful, yes you are, yes you are. And you'll always be here. Yeah. You're still able. In my weakness, your strength is perfected. Oh yes, you when my faith is failing, you are. I can always lean on you. You're faithful, God. You're the faithful one. My strength is failing, you're still able. You're the faithful one. Faithful one.
Everybody is becoming something. We're all becoming what we behold. Everybody wants to find their purpose.
Good morning. Hey.
Everybody wants something more.
Good Monday.
'Cause if I'm gonna be more of anything,
I'll be more like my Lord.
Be more like you.
Hey.
If I'm gonna be more of anything, I just wanna be more like you. If I'm giving my all to anything,
It's a
I'm
Monday.
giving my all to you.
Daylight
If I'm
savings
gonna
time
be
just happened.
more of anything, I just wanna be
You
more
guys smell it.
like you.
Yeah. Wow. Let's go ahead and cut that music. Good morning, everybody. This is your boy, Christian Israel, and you are tuned into Christ and Crypto in the morning. Hey, this is everywhere, every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We not just talk about your spiritual life, but we also focus on your financial health and kind of what's going on in the world so you know what is around you. But most importantly, this is called Christ and Crypto, where we make sure the main focal point of this is to be a believer to be here, but you have to be respectful. That's pretty much it. And today's show topics are going to be, show topic is going to be pretty fun today. So, to let you guys know, our topic for the day is what happens to stocks when the Fed hikes. Because you guys know Wednesday, excuse me, it always starts right when the show starts. You know, the coffee kicks in and you just want to do your morning burps. But what happens to stocks when the Fed hikes? A historical guide. That's what we're looking at today. That is the title for today. And we're going to hit up a couple things, you know, look at what's obviously going on in Russia, what's going on in with the war in Ukraine, what's happening in China, what's going on in India, and see what happens. Pretty good day yesterday with the stocks opening last night, oil dropping lower. And so we're trying to take advantage of that to see what kind of week we're going to have, because I personally think we should have a nice week. I am not a time TA kind of person, but I'm starting to figure it out. So with that said, guys, I appreciate you being here for the day. So let's go ahead and hit that intro. All right, you know what we got to do. We got to go ahead and kick off what is going on. What is going on in the market right now? So let's check it. Bitcoin's in the number one spot at $38,859. Ethereum is in the number two spot at $2,575. BNB in number three at $368. XRP sitting in number four spot at $76.17. And last but not least, Terra Luna in the number five spot at 93, still sitting right under resistance at $100, because that's, you know what? That's what it wants to do. That's what it wants to do, pretty much. So let's dive into the charts and see what else. Let me take these headphones off because I already hit the go button. So let's dive into these charts and kick off what we see happening right now. So first I want to start off with where we are in XRP because nothing's changed over the weekend. As expected, we got really great news about the SEC motion for the fair notice defense has been squashed. They tried to squash it. It has been denied. So on that news, which we were waiting, we saw a spike. We saw a spike fire up on that news on Friday. And boom, a nice finish off with a wave 5 there and coming into an ABC correction. And I'll go ahead and show you that right now. I know that just got crazy when I turned that on, didn't it? But we are sitting currently in the ABC correction. I would have been I'd be satisfied with the 74 cents that we came down to over the weekend. Right there as a full ABC. But we still have not finished the full extension of this move. Excuse me. It's a part of the B leg, which actually brings us to 72.6. So there's a good chance we could come down to 72.6 still, depending on what happens. I know we had a little drop in oil just now. The NASDAQ is up with the futures this weekend or today. So it did open about 30 minutes ago, and that's where we are. So when I zoom into this craziness on here, because all people's charts are crazy, we just finished the channel here and broke out exactly at resistance, as you know, 0.414. We like to see that, but this is back testing. So this is looking for the down move to complete at 72.6. If we break again this downtrend. Now, what we could do, because I know you guys can't really see this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this line here, and I'm going to make that line bigger, and then I'm going to dash it, okay? See that dash? Now we can really see that as something different. That specific line here is a trend. Now, I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to show you where that trend lines up, okay? That line is right through here. See that? Now, let's take it off. See that line right here? That line right there. And now you know what? What's crazy is that's still green, or that's red because of something else I was doing. So I want to make that. There we go. Now, you see that line right there? That is the trend line that just got flipped. So it's actually flipping right now. So you see this flip? This is a 3-hour time scale. You see this right here? That gap? That's the back test of that line, and it's trying to start a wave 2 after that ABC right now. So could this continue to grind down this line right here for this week. Now, it's a 3-hour candle, so this is to the week. The week brings us to 74.26, which we've already back tested. So 74.29 actually, which we've already back tested, and that's why I will be satisfied because the 4.414 is a big point of emphasis for us on reversals or continuations, supports big time. But I am watching this right here. This is a 3-hour, and our RSI is still in a downtrend. So we could have, again, still have one more move, a break off that resistance on down. So looking for that. I did do pretty well on a Bitcoin short. Speaking of Bitcoin, because this is what I have been seeing for Bitcoin. So we saw this run up. We saw this run up right here. And I started shorting right there. Also shorted last night just a little bit, trying to hit my goal. I'm getting closer and closer. This weekend was a big win for me. So just trying to make sure we get used to it. You don't want to overplay your hand no matter what your goals are. You want to make sure you stay on track, reserve your capital, preserve your capital, and try to make the smallest losses. Obviously, that makes sense. That's trading. You don't want to lose a lot and win a little, or you want to win a lot, lose a little, right? But in reality, you got to be smart. And again, the smartest thing you guys can do in trading is the pivots and supports, long supports, short resistance. And I try not to do that because this could really fire at any time. So I'm being very careful about my leverage. But you can see here, perfect example of what I'm speaking about. This right here. Another example of what this is in Bitcoin, but same thing's happening in XRP. You have the flip of that trend line, and now it's broken down, broken up, and now it's bouncing back on the trend line. I'm not a fan of trading trend lines, but it helps me know which direction we're going. I think our next stop is 48,000 for Bitcoin, because we cannot break. We really can't break below the 37K. That would not be good for anybody. Unless you're shorting. As far as the crypto market's concerned, though, we do not want to go that direction, and that's not what I see because I believe the NASDAQ has got some fun stuff in store for us. You can see the same thing. The NASDAQ is trying to break a trend from last week. I know this is the hourly, so we are just working our way. Boom. Difference of the NASDAQ here is that trend is not broken. It is still under. Still under this major trend line of support, so we could be breaking up. I think break up and back test here maybe today would be nice. Again, I am not a timed person, so I have not going to tell you this is happening today. We want to look at the intraday, get a good scalp, but this is what we see in the NASDAQ here. These are our pivot points. Let's get rid of some of the historical pivot points real quick so we're not overloading our chart. Again, the easiest thing to do is long support, short resistance, and that's kind of what we're just looking at. I'm not trading the NASDAQ, but I'm looking at NASDAQ to see. So we are under the weekly pivot right now and the daily pivot. So there's a little bit of resistance here trying to work its way up, so we might break again and then fire up. That's what I'll be looking at for on the week. Again, here's Luna. Doing nice. Look like it's kind of forming some type of bull flag right now. But these are never guaranteed to break a certain direction. But we are looking at that. On that scale, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That might have been the fifth wave there for Luna on this small hour scale. So it's not the whole big thing, but we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're working on an ABC pattern down. A, B, okay. See Luna coming back down and testing possibly 90, which would make sense. If not 91, when I see a lot of things slightly coming back down just a little bit. So Luna's there. Quant we can check in on too. As I talked about on Friday, Quant is still really tightening. We're just watching this play out to the channel. We can maybe expect a breakdown to 105 from here, so about $7 south. But that will bring us down to the actual trend line. You also see the RSI here, guys, still channeling down on two different high points and making its way down. Everything's slowly just resetting, coming back to an even keel on the larger time frames, which is something that we want to see. So when everything comes down in the larger time frame, that is good for us. And if you hear banging in the background, I have the dart being built. I have a forest behind me in a sense here in Dallas. and now they're building a dart for the next couple of years. So if you hear banging, don't worry. No one's trying to break in my house. That is just the Dallas construction folks breaking in the ground behind the house and making a whole bunch of noise starting at 7 a.m. So this is what we're looking at. Just the last but not least, we could also see on the NASDAQ as a possibility. We're playing this out from the 15,898 short. If I was a short, I did not short, but that would have been a real nice short from January. Really, November. But we're looking at the long-term play here. So when it bounced to 3,236, we could see a little bounce here working its way up to possibly back test 1,400 or fire up out of here. But this finish of this move is 11,246 on this specific trade. So again, this could play out. So we could see a bounce back up and a retrace and then back down because the NASDAQ again is officially in a bear market because from its top down, we are officially down 21% to in the equities market, 20%, which we spoke about, is considered a bear market. So now the NASDAQ is officially in a bear market. And so now we're going to wait for that to happen. And that's what we're looking at in the crypto world, watching the NASDAQ. Did I bring up oil? Let's go ahead and jump on the oil because that is really what we're waiting for. What live chart is that? Live? That's the sell targets one. So we're not going to get anything there. Let's find my live chart. Here we go. And now let's go up on Brent oil. And this is what we're looking for. I'm currently in a short. I've shorted it multiple times. I started my short on Friday at 110.50 up here. So then it opened last night down here, took profit, re-entered another short at 109 and 105, rocking this down and just hit our weekly pivot. So probably when I get off the show, if nothing crazy too happens, I'll set a stop loss, get a little closer. But oil there is making money. I expected after that pop that we would have some retrace and get the trading going. Again, it doesn't matter where we trade as long as we make a profit. All the TA that we talk about on this show specifically will fit those. Speaking of that, I am starting the members groups here on YouTube, so I can do private live streams. We'll break down TA stuff and ask other questions where people can ask more specific questions about TA, but I'll do that in private streams. I don't want to do that on public streams because, one, we really don't have a lot of people who watch every day during the live specifically, but more importantly, I want anything that's detailed financial things like that to be private. So because we'll break down targets and I'll teach people TA. So if you want to learn TA, let's start figuring out these member groups on YouTube and we'll get there. So right now, that's what we're looking at. I like where oil just bounced. Again, we've had a very explosive couple of weeks with oil, but we're expecting a retrace in the NASDAQ and in the S&P and in crypto because it's been correction. So we're finishing up some ABC. So, guys, we could have some good news here soon. I wouldn't be upset if oil pumped with the NASDAQ, but, man, that world I don't see happening. But this is a crazy, crazy world because right now you can see the NASDAQ trying to test that trend line again and get up out of here. So that's what we're seeing in the charts. Hey, good morning, Mr. Crypto Lee. How you seeing? How's the Houston, man? Here in Dallas, it's dark. It's nice, but it's dark. I woke up this morning like, man, what time is it? I had to force myself out of bed because it was still pitch dark outside. Daylight savings times, right? So it's 9:14 a.m. this morning, and that is your update for your TA chart. So if you guys got any other questions, drop it in. We'll try to catch it, but let's go ahead and close this session out and go into our topics for the day, shall we? So with that being said, let's hit that breaking news, guys. Let's hit it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about today for this Miss Janet Yellen thing here is Miss Janet Yellen. Now, we've talked about multiple times about the young forum leaders from the World Economic Forum. Janet Yellen is one of those with Pete Buttigieg and Vladimir Putin and Justin Trudeau. Those are just some starts, right? Those are some major connections where all these people are connected right now. But before we get into what happens when the stock, let's walk into what's happening around the world as this happening. Because what we're going to talk about, the historical aspect of it, is this is different right now. This is a different world that we are in right now, 100%. So let's check that out and go from there. So let's see here. I went to the wrong button because I was getting ready to start checking my trades as things move. So I hope I didn't just bang the mic really loud on you. Let me put the headphones back on and let's take a listen to this.
I don't want to make a prediction exactly as to what's going to happen in the second half of the year. You know, we're likely to see another year in which 12-month inflation numbers remain very uncomfortably high. I don't want to make a prediction.
Inflation numbers incredibly uncomfortably high. She spent how long saying inflation wasn't going to happen? They waited and waited and waited, and then they said, "Ooh, war. Now we can use the word inflation because it's Russia's fault." Oh, you think I'm kidding? let me find real quick. Let me just show you something. I gotta show you. I got to show you. Now let me look for. Oh man, there's all this other news. Let me show you this news real quick because this is important, and I forgot to put it in. But today, which is what could finish the correction, the European Union, Econ, is voting today to ban proof of work. What is proof of work? Bitcoin. Ethereum is proof of work too. Anything that's mining, right? Isn't Ethereum proof of work? I'm pretty sure Ethereum is POW. I'm nowhere near an expert on Ethereum whatsoever. Not like I know a lot of other distributed ledger technology way better than I know specifically Ethereum because, yeah, to me that's my space. Ethereum is my space and Bitcoin is Napster. That's just how I feel about it, right? So that's happening today. They're voting to ban it today. So what was I? Oh yeah, I remember what I was looking up. I was going to show you what our United States president has said about specifically inflation. Let's take a listen, shall we?
Sick of this stuff. So I'm sick of this stuff. We have to talk about it because the American people think the reason for inflation is government spending more money. Simply not true.
One more time.
I'm sick of this stuff. We have to talk about it because the American people think the reason for inflation is government spending more money. Simply not true.
Do you hear that? It's not true. It is not true whatsoever. Nope, not true. Not true. It is not. Inflation doesn't happen because we spend more money. Remember that. It doesn't happen because we spend more money. Then what is the reason for inflation? Oh yeah, Russia. What's the reason for gas prices up? Russia. That's what they're saying right now. So I wanted to play that for you. Those kind of be on the watch because it's Fed hike, Wednesday. That's this morning. And I would play some, I'm going to figure out a different setup probably in the summer where I can play the morning, news for you. What's happened on CNBC or Fox Business, right? And we can see what they're saying on the show and kind of go back and forth with that. But I want you to see that. So speaking of inflation, and shout out to my New Creation Cronies group. This is where I got that article specifically. I'm going to say CF, Klaus. I think it's Klaus Fredo is how you pronounce it. I mean, we're friends on the internet in the group, so I don't really know how to say his name out loud. I have to guess by reading it, phonetically sounded out. So Klaus Fredo is how I'm going to say that, which is horrible. But he put that in here. So if you guys want to join the New Creation Cronies Telegram group. Jump on in. It's free. There's a link somewhere. I don't really promote it, but since people are starting to put real good information in there, come on in there. I'll drop charts every once in a while, but it's a group just of a bunch of people who want to talk tinfoil hat, talk Christ, and really talk about what they're finding in the news that's not on mass media. And you can find that right there in the New Creation Cronies group. So if you are a New Creation Crony group right now and you listen to this, please hit that like button, share this, and let people know about this channel, please. Thank you, and I appreciate you. Because this says right here, people should be prepared to lose all their money. So we just talked about inflation now. People should be prepared to lose all their money because crypto ATMs are illegal in the UK, right? Just watch. The UK says it's now illegal. They're going to vote to ban proof of work today. And also as of Friday, this article came Saturday, but as of Friday, they're going to ban it. They're going to ban it. What's it say? There's about 80 crypto ATMs in the UK. And it says they're going to shut them down, meaning that any of them operating in the UK are doing so illegally because they are not registered or approved with the FCA. So consumers should not be using them. Should not. So that's what we're going to do. And speaking of should not be using, I mean, you got one person saying do not be using them. And then you got here, Jamaican Central Bank to airdrop Jam-Dex. Jam-Dex. Why does Jamaica, the Caribbean's got some cool names for all their airdrops? But they're going to airdrop Jam-Dex to CBDC to early adopters. They're going to do exactly what China did. China dropped the digital yuan in people's wallets so they could test it, use it, get used to it, and then watch their spending. They could spend it on certain things. Jamaica's not going to do that, man. They smoke too much green and are relaxed there to be that intense. I don't know too much about Jamaica's government outside of what we hear, you know, the corruption and things like that. But I believe them as a whole are pretty chill, which like a lot of most countries in that position are right now. I don't really, you know, what are you going to do when you're based on another financial system that is not helping certain types of people? And that's where Jamaica is right now. They're not really helped in the current financial system, so they're going to do that. It says Jamaica soon will be released in Jam-Dex, the CBDC, and citizens receive a $16 deposit to spread awareness and usage. $16. So, and it's Jamaica's first 100,000 citizens, which is crazy. $16. I'm not going to go into that, but that should tell you something right now. Here, sign up and get a $16 from free for your government. That's what they're looking at. And I'm not going to go into this because we want to jump into the actual article here. But I just want you to see that Bank of Jamaica, here is your logo, no cash, no problem. They're doing it that way. Talking about cash. Bank of Jamaica's digital currency, Jam-Dex. So that's exactly how they're going to go about it. Kind of, you know, anything, again, the government wants to pay you to do. Be careful. Because here in America, they were paying people to get the C19 sticker, the little sticker, right? They're paying people. So when they pay you to do something, they really want you to be a part of it. So when they tell you CBDCs and crypto being full-blown mainstream is a while away, well, here's another example that it's not. Here's another example that it's not. Because the money in the market is the issue, right? SWIFT system. How they're going to move money, lack of liquidity. And that's why here, according to the Zero Hedge article, India is mulling the Rupee-Ruble payment system for trade with Russia. Remember, we talk about BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America. Or is it South Africa, right? These are the BRICS communities. So they are going to try to create a second-tier currency. And we've talked about a two-tier world reserve currency on this channel, and you see it playing out. Russia, India, China, South Africa, right? And Brazil. I believe all of them are going to be on one system, and then all the NATO alliance, American, whatever power countries are all going to be on the other one with the U.S. dollar. Right? The digital yuan is going to be one. The other is going to be the U.S. dollar. And you're really seeing that play out right now. Like you really, really are. So if you're paying attention, Hopefully, you're able to profit from this, getting the right things, because we talked about XLM, we talked about XRP, Quant, HBAR are your big dogs right now. I know they talk about Algo and Circle and all those things, but just be very careful because where you're going to spend them if Coinbase shuts things down. Speaking of shutting things down, Moscow's stock market to remain frozen for a third straight week. 3 straight weeks, it's frozen, right? 3 weeks. Tell me that's not corrupt. They're not going to let the stock market fall. Imagine in America. You think America wants the U.S., once the stock market really starts dumping, once it really starts dumping, do you think they're going to let it? Do you really think they're going to let it? This way, they're going to shut it down. Stop. Reset. Something's happening because the whole stock market's been shut down. It actually hasn't opened since February 25th. So the whole world right now is moving their markets without Russia involved. Suspended. This is why companies are really moving out of Russia, right? Why the banks are moving out of Russia. I mean, we see that, so they're moving out. What do you got? The JPMorgans, the Goldman Sachs, right? Those are the guys moving out, the businesses, the McDonald's. It's because the stock is closed. There's no more money to be made the real way. They don't really care about citizens. That's why the banks are like, well, forever, Russia. See ya. They don't care about citizens. They care about the bottom line. They care about the bottom line. And when you have the bottom line, right, Russia seeks China's military help. Why? Because the bottom line is they can't do it on their own. They need to have another power step in to create this. I mean, over the weekend, there's no confirmation. I haven't seen, mass media news confirmation, but we have seen it on our social media platforms that there was a U.S. embassy in, I think, northern Iraq that was shot with missiles. No one was dead, no casualties, no significant injuries, but there was a U.S. base over the weekend fired upon. That's what we're seeing right now. You got to be very careful. Just watch. I mean, I guess we don't have to be careful, but I want you to be careful about leverage when I say be careful. How much money you're putting in this market right now, leverage-wise. If you're buying and hodling, wonderful. Everything's a buying opportunity. You've had so many buying opportunities. As long as XRP is under $1, you better keep buying. Keep buying. Keep buying. Personal opinion, not financial advice for educational purposes only. I am not your financial advisor, nor do I probably even know you, right? So do not listen to somebody you do not know, some random guy on the internet in his office chilling on a Monday morning telling you to buy XRP. Don't buy it because I said so. Do your own research. Or because of what you've seen on the show, specifically the information that is given to you, not the advice. So now that I've said that, are you watching? Russia, China, military partners. China's also watching Taiwan. I told you these are the things we want to watch. The war. Biblically, it's all coming together. Biblically, right here, this thing, all coming together. People say it's a simulation. God already told us how it was going to come together. And it's coming together. You know who else is kind of like an oracle? JPMorgan. Because didn't they just get JPMorgan just pay a fine? I forgot that JPMorgan pays fine. Manipulation. Let's see. Here we go. Here it is right here. Look at this. I want to show you this. JPMorgan to pay $920 million for manipulating precious metals treasury market. Okay? When was this? September 29th, 2020. People just be forgetting. They manipulated the metals futures. So if they were fined $920 million, that means they made a couple billion off of that. JPMorgan will pay, they did pay $500,000, or a little over $500,000, or $500 million in fines and restitution, another $500 million almost. But it says between 2016 and 2008, right? So a bull market. They manipulated precious market. They manipulated gold, silver, precious metals, right? So when you come and you see this, the Wall Street Journal put out, JPMorgan leads talks to contain nickel crisis damage. The meltdown blend in the financial system with nickel giant tanks and brokers owed several $1 billion in upfront cash required to make trades. In other words, they're broke. So JPMorgan's like, you know what? You're broke. We'll step in. We'll step in and help. We'll step in and help you. Here's some help because we're the reason. We're the problem. Therefore, something has happened, which is the reaction. Now, since we're the problem, we can also create the solution, just like our government. They print the money. They cause the blame on Russia. Now they're also the solution for inflation. The same reason, doing the same thing. We're going to print more money to stop inflation. That nickel squeeze was wonderful because they buy your nickel and then they short it. They buy to take you, hey, come on. We'll take your stuff. Give us, $500,000. We'll go ahead and put it in some precious metals, long that because you want to long precious metals. And then they're shorting it with your money, betting against you. That's what they're doing. Now in crypto, it's kind of hard because we have such violent swings. So to be moving the crypto in and out on these little ones, that anything that's not XRP becomes expensive and not worth the move, right? You got one Bitcoin, swinging one Bitcoin for the $200-$300 moves might not be worth the risk, right? But in some like precious metals of the NASDAQ that plays out longer, yeah, go ahead, come long and we'll short. So therefore, if the market goes down, we win. Even though you lose, we still win. And if the market goes up, holding your money, we win. And we have a stop loss because we're longing on the other end. So we still win. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. It's just a vicious cycle pattern that started with the banks. Right? And we'll talk about this tomorrow, I believe, depending on what happens in the news. If the news goes insane crazy over the next couple of days, we will not go into this. But in the meantime, we're going to go into the Federal Reserve. And we're going to go into Jekyll Island and some other things. But what I want you to see here is this before we break into the art about the Fed hikes. The Federal Reserve System is not owned by anyone. The Federal Reserve was created in 1913 by the Federal Reserve Act to serve as the nation's central bank. The Board of Governors in Washington, D.C. is an agency of the federal government and reports to it. The Board of Governors is an agency of the federal government, but not the Federal Reserve. I want to point that out. Ooh, man, I love how they go ahead and sidestep that. So, just a little bit. I'll break all this stuff down later. But let's go ahead and jump on into the article that's on Bloomberg that we're going to go down because that's what's happening this week, and we want to get a good idea of how to jump to try to take advantage of some of these moves that we're going to see. These are some violent moves in the market, which creates even more volatility in crypto. So this says S&P usually has a higher returns 12 months after the first hike. Stocks poised for more swings at Fed grapples with oil surge. So oil's popping. With Elizabeth Warren wants to take everyone's money. Anybody who made money off oil's pump, Elizabeth Warren now wants to tax you. Now, it's not the company's fault oil is high, right? Because they don't make oil. They just produce oil. So when the price of oil goes up, means the demand is skyrocketing and the supply is low. So the Democrats in general, whenever someone makes money off of their screw-ups, it's the person making money's fault. And that's what you have. And that's the issue with totalitarianism. That's the issue with communism, socialism, liberalism, right? Fascism. Someone once said communism and socialism won't just be right there in your face. It would come in the form of liberalism, where you think that, government, private, government owns everything, buys everything. They're a private entity, and they're in your pockets and they control everything. That's fascism. That's socialism, right? Communism, in a sense. The government controls everything. What you do, what you say, what you think, but you think you're free. So now here, they're going to tell us what to think. We heard Biden say, hey, don't listen to what you learned in school and history, where something that prints money that you're going to run out of, like the value of the dollar would drop if you continue to print money. They say that's not true. That's not the definition of inflation. Instead, it's Russia. And inflation happens like that, apparently, overnight. No matter what. Russia went to war on Ukraine, inflation happened that next day. That's what they want you to know. However, this article says, let's go ahead and break it down. The S&P 500 index is off to its worst start since to a year of COVID fell March 2020, which we know. Over the past 2 years, the stock market has managed to rise in the face of the worst global pandemic in a century. Doesn't make any sense, does it? One of the most divisive presidential election in U.S. history, and the Capitol being attacked by Americans, so they say. Now it's facing the largest ground war in Europe since World War II and the fastest inflation since the 1980s. Okay, there's your introduction. So with the Fed preparing to hike rates, it's worth wondering if the S&P, which is still up 90% since its bottom in March 2020, 90% in 2 years. 90% in 2 years is running out of steam. It's up 90% in 2 years. Nothing goes straight up. History suggests U.S. stocks are poised to experience more volatility following the rise in the rates. But that doesn't mean the bull run is over. In fact, in the previous 8 hiking cycles, the S&P was higher a year after the first increase every single time. Every single time. After Wednesday, if you buy prior to the announcement Wednesday, buy the rumor, a year later you will be profitable. Man, if normally, what would if this was a different time, that sounds like long. Which kind of the charts are setting up that way, aren't they? They really are. It says in the past 3 decades, the Fed has taken on 4 distinct rate hike cycles. None have been detrimental equity markets, and technology, which has seen wild swings this year, on the prospect of faster rate increases, is typically among the best performing S&P 500 sectors during those cycles, with a gain of nearly 21% according to the study. So you see that. You see technology rises. How the S&P sectors perform in Fed hike rate cycles. Technology on average sees 20.6% increase. And again, I tell you this, why? Crypto is tied to the NASDAQ. The overall stock market is tied together, right? But the NASDAQ specifically, I noticed. And what I've been telling you the last week and a half, I've been watching the stock and counter trading oil. And you see here, oil shock dilemma. So what could be a tripwire for this bull run? Right? For the bull run. What could set this off and take NASDAQ to go north? Okay? Based on Fed hikes. Can we see it in the charts? And here's what it says. So what could be a tripwire for this bull run? Rising oil prices coupled with rate hikes. The Fed faces a tricky dilemma with crude surging and the Russian invasion of Ukraine threatening to make it even more expensive. Oil shocks have preceded economic downturns in the mid-1970s, early 1980s, and early 1990s, but other recessions like after 9/11 in 2001 and the global financial crisis in 2008 weren't directly caused by a sharp rise in crude prices. No, they were caused by a correction. And again, we'll go into what the Fed is tomorrow. Midterm volatility. There's another challenge facing investors. We know that. Midterm weaknesses. It says here, the S&P quarterly performance by presidential cycles from 1950 to 2021. This is a nice little article here. And we see here, the first quarter, you don't really see a lot of gain here. Normally about under a percent on average in the second year. The first year, you see a rise of 3%. The second year, and okay, I see. So you got black first quarter, pink second quarter, blue the third quarter, and yellow the fourth quarter. So you can see, oh, there's the black. I didn't see it. So the first quarter, normally in the third year, is the best. In the second year, your fourth quarter is normally the best. Are you seeing that? This is Biden's second year. Okay? The second quarter is normally the worst in a president's second year. Just like in a president's first year, the second quarter is normally the worst. The second quarter of Joe Biden's first year was what? The last part of COVID-19, right? That's what we saw. So give him a minute, Did it pump? I don't know. It's not supposed to. But it has. And then today's the second year. Oh man. It says down. And that's quarter. That's April, May, and June. Unless they're going, this S&P, so they're going off the government. But so that's April, May, June. January, February, March, April, May, June is the third quarter. January, February, March, first quarter. January, February, January, February, March, April, May, June, second quarter. Yeah, okay. April, May, June. Literally right around the corner. So do we see a run up? Do we see a super run up? Because then next year, the first quarter, which would make sense, I say the bottom of the bear market should be this winter, where we're really going to start, we really want to rebuy what you're in. It kind of adds up there. It's just interesting to see. It's just interesting to see. So the Fed hike, so if I bring it back to the NASDAQ, they're expecting a Fed hike on Wednesday. So could we see a bounce as expected right in this area? Come back up, a nice rebound before falling back down here. That's what we could expect. I mean, the charts are really setting up. You got oil bouncing. We need oil to get under control. We've seen oil top. Oil has yet to finish its move to 89 from that top move of 129, right? So that is a $40 move there to finish just a back test before we get some kind of relief bounce out of there. That's why I'm shorting. But really, 98 is the back test of 100 is what we're looking at in the meantime before we go back up to possibly 115 and then down to 20. And that's what I'll be looking to trade. I don't know if oil is going to move as violently anymore after that pop up, but we could see it. If the NASDAQ really rolls, money can leave that oil real quick and come in. And that's what we want to see. I mean, like I said, we see Bitcoin setting up as well, right? Setting up. And I do on top of that 50. That's a big deal for me. So we are currently rocking on top of this 50 here, working our way up to 40,000 to break that. But at the same time, with this rejection right here at the 702, we could come back test and range at 38.2. So I actually have a buy. I do. I set my buy this morning at 38.2, 38.3 for Bitcoin to try to catch that bounce right there and ride that to 40. And that's only 1,000 something move there. But this is what we're looking at. Overall, I'm looking at Bitcoin to begin to fire up here real soon and begin to head to 48,000, which could be, like I said, here in the next day or two, right? The run up right after the Fed. So I am on my toes, really, really watching that. And so should you. So if you're looking to make some money, there could be a small correction. I see that Monero, which we have made some moves on recently. Let's see. I don't think I have. Is Monero the only chart I have that is XRP 2020? I think so. Live SME, live chart, February 8th, sell targets. All right, we're going to open a new one. I'm going to open XRP 2020 Outlook, and it's going to bring me to Monero. Wow, that's insane. Look at that. Okay, so this is not quite, it doesn't look like it's quite done yet. You know, it looks like we got this move here. Whoop. So there's our first one. That's one, and I think this could be A, B, C. Come back down to here, about $4. So not too much of a bigger move. Or maybe come back to back test that area there for 177 for the private coin that should be pumping. I mean, that's where things are going. Definitely right now as we see. Look, there goes oil on right there. On time during the show as expected, down 7% since its opening yesterday. Luna's up 5%. So we're kind of watching these again, looking for the counter trades. If you can counter trade it, you can do it, and just got to get a little comfortable, build up that, and once you get really comfortable with your calls, it's easy to do it. There it goes, right there, and that's on the hourly. So you can see here the 5-minute chart really doing the damage, right? So we see this come up. This is what we're playing, trying to finish. Let me get rid of that. Clean that up. Finish this move out. So could we see a back test? Could. It's sitting on support right now. So that's what we want to watch. That's what we want to watch. Yeah, it just bounced right off the S2 there, and there's not much more to the market. Those are the things we're watching. We have the Fed hikes on Wednesday, so we could see a run up into that, and then a sell off, or right when he announces it pump. So that's an intraday trade to look at on Wednesday that we will be watching and keeping up to, because the goals are around the corner. So that's pretty much what the news is for the day. Before I go into the scriptures, I am doing an NCAA bracket challenge. I'm up. That's all you get of that flash. Whoop. That's it. That's it. That's it. Because that's mine. I'm going to be doing a one through, let's see, depending on how many people get in. If we get at least 15 to 20 people in, I'll do a top 3. And if we get a 20 or more in, I'll do a top 4. But I'm going to give away 1,000 XRP to third place. I'm going to give away 2,500 XRP probably to second place, and maybe 5,000 XRP to first place, if we can really get a lot of people signed up and get this subscriber thing moving. If it's just us, I'll do something simple, more like 100 XRP giveaway, 250 XRP giveaway, and a 500 XRP giveaway, all depending on how many people sign up. So I put the link in the chat. I'll also put the link, if I can, in the pen right now. Let's see. I'm going to copy this link. See what happens if I move this address. See if it actually brings it. Look at that. It brings it up perfectly. All right. All right. All right. So I copied it, and I'm going to paste this in here, right here. I'm going to paste it right here again. I can't put it in the comments quite yet, but oh man, that is way too big. That is a whole redirect YouTube thingamajiggy, and we don't want to do all that. That's a whole redirect, but it's right there in the comments. If you go look at the very first thing I posted, let's see if I can highlight that. Pin the message. Boom. Just pin that message to the top there to follow along. Come jump in. Again, if we can get, if we've got 10 people, it will be 100 XRP. We get 25 or more, I'll make it 1,000. So that's your goal. You want to get this pumping, get people to this channel. This is a great time to do that and get that going. So besides that, man, it's about time to hit that Christ portion of it and get some scripture going. It is 9:49 this morning. My name is Christian Israel, and you are tuned to Christ and Crypto in the Morning, where at 9:50, I make sure to point out the Christ aspect in the morning. So if you've stopped by just for the normal news, I appreciate you. If you're going to hang out with me long now, stop on by, because that's where we are. And let's see what we can talk about today, because oh boy, there's so much propaganda going on. There's so many things going on, and let's start. I went to bed about 5 hours ago and got up about 2 hours ago. I'm running on fumes right now. Because there's so much stuff. going on. So it's hard to kind of shut the mind off sometimes. But what I know is no matter what's going on, that we can sometimes turn all the time turn to the scripture. There's always something in there to help us. And this specifically today is from John 14. That's what I want to read to you today. John 14. And this is how I feel this morning. And maybe there's some of you feel this way. Maybe some of you guys are feeling troubled. Maybe some of you guys are feeling stressed or stretched out or just not getting what you want in this crazy, crazy world that isn't about you. It's about themselves. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, to cause anguish, to cause all these different emotions that the Lord has given us, but we have to manage and control, but the devil wants us to be out of control. So when the devil wants us to be out of control, we have to turn to the Lord and see what he says. And he says here in verse 1 of chapter 14 on John, it says, let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that? I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may also be. And you know the way to where I am going. Thomas said to him, doubting Didymus, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? And Jesus said to him, how can we know the way when we don't know? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you do know him and have seen me. Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father. It is enough. Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. Jesus said to him, have I been with you so long, and you still do not know me, Philip? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, or else believe on account of the works of themselves. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do. And greater works than these will he do, because I am going to the Father. Whatever you ask in my name, this I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. That right there, when you ask it anything in Jesus' name of God, he's an intermediary, but if we ask things of him with the heart to praise God and glorify God for what we ask for, Jesus will do it in his name. Like he says, I am the Father and the Father is me. Him and I are one. He says it right there. But you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So why I'm here, because I'm here to show you and walk with you, so you can touch me, see the miracles with your own eyes, so you can be with me, because I go to prepare a place for you. Right? He's the bridegroom, or he's the groom, and we're the bridesmaid. Bridegroom. I always forget how that goes. We're waiting on him. Biblically, he's the husband, right? He's our Father with agape love. He goes to build a house for us, and then he will return. Truly, truly, I say to you, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father. And anything you ask me for him, through him, I will give you if your heart's in the right place. Do not worry. Don't let your hearts be troubled. He knows we stress. He knows we worry. He knows that there are things that sometimes we just wake up and we can't control the thoughts in our head. We can only do our best to repent those thoughts. And I'm not talking about like unsatisfying thoughts like, lustful, sinful, purposeful, dirty thoughts. I'm talking about those that we tell ourselves we're not good enough. I'm talking about those days where we wake up and we don't want to get out of bed. I'm talking about those days where we think the world is just against us, beating us and pounding us. How am I going to make it through another day? How am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to feed my kid? How am I going to take care of us? How am I going to deal in a COVID world? What happens if a war breaks out and I have to protect my family? What happens if? What happens if? What happens if? The Lord says right there, well, what happens if? Let your hearts not be troubled. Believe in God. Also believe in me. That's not if you believe in God, you believe in me. He says, believe in God. There is a God. So many people say, I don't believe in a God. He says, there is a God. And if you believe in God, then you must believe in me because him and I are one. And since you've seen me, you've talked to me, if you ask of these things in my name, anything in my name, and it will glorify God, who I am, Jesus, I will do it. If you ask in Jesus' name to glorify God, Jesus will do it. So get on your hands and knees and pray. Walk down the street and pray. Close your eyes. Sit in traffic and pray. Talk to him. Build your relationship with him. That's what you got to do in these times. It's tough because everybody's going through their own thing and they want you to be their solution. Or you might want another person to be your solution. They are not your solution. Jesus is. Excuse me. As I say that, I start to run out of breath on the end. I made it the whole time without completely coughing that hard. That's the word of the day. Excuse me. That's John 14, by the way. Starting in verse 1 to 17 is what I just read to you. And that's it on the day. Yo, that's it. We're done. We're good. We're gravy. God is good. God is so good. So, I guess we're checking out. Thank you, Lee, for hanging out with me today. I'm going to drink some more water right now because I can't even do this outro. With the dry, it's because I'm allergic to my cats. 100% allergic to my cats. So, again, I hope you guys have a wonderful week so far. We'll catch you tomorrow. This is your boy, Christian Israel, and you are tuned into Christ and Crypto in the Morning, where every day you and I come kick it with our cup of coffee, talk Christ and crypto and financial news around the world that shows kind of how it's playing out biblically and financially. So make sure you guys join the March Madness. Winner's going to get some XRP. First and second place, some other cryptos. Like button, subscribe button, notification bell so you can be notified when I go live. And I want you to check me out tomorrow, 9 a.m., where we kick it here. I cannot wait to see you guys soon. In the meantime, I love you guys so much. Until tomorrow, I'll see you. God bless, guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share this video, subscribe to this channel, and do the thing that people do on social media. At Twitter, at TikTok, New Creation Capital. Let us know, guys. Thanks so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Later, guys.